On a headstone appeared these words: "Remember, stranger, as you pass by, as you are now, so once was I. As I am now, so you shall be. So prepare yourself to follow me." Kind of a sobering thing to look at. It's sobering to see where my parents are buried, because my name is already on the stone. I mention this because the liturgy of the Word today, and actually for the next 2 weeks, talk about the end of time, or talk about our own personal deaths, or our collective passing with the coming of Jesus for the second time. Today we have that story from Matthew's Gospel about a wedding, which assumes that we know what the practice was at the time of Christ. From what we can gather, the bridegroom would come to the bride's house, and then either there would be a party there, or there would be a procession back to the groom's house, where a great feast would be prepared. And the emphasis in the reading today would be on the bridesmaids. What was their role? Basically, they were to light the way for the bridegroom to the bride's house. And apparently there was a game that was sometimes played where the bridegroom tried to sneak past them. And if that, they wouldn't be able to go to the party. Today, we're talking about a bridegroom who was delayed. It's around midnight, and all the bridesmaids had fallen asleep, but the wise ones had brought extra oil for their lamps, and that they were prepared to form the procession. And the foolish virgins or bridesmaids who didn't bring the oil weren't able to be part of the procession. Now you might ask yourself, wouldn't it be the Christian thing to do to share the oil? But that's not the point of the parable. The parable is not about charity, it's about being prepared. And apparently, the oil would represent good deeds, or following the gospel message. It's not that we earn salvation, but those good deeds are in response to the love that is offered us by the Lord. It's also kind of foolish as to understand why they sent not foolish, but the foolish bridesmaids were sent to the merchants. It's midnight. Nothing is going to be open at that point. But parables usually have one message, and this is, be prepared. We need to recognize that just like the leaves on the trees, one day we will all fall. We have to recognize that we are being invited to a feast, this image of heaven, but we should not disqualify ourselves by not building up enough oil, if you will. The oil really does represent a response to God's call in our lives. Later in Matthew's Gospel, Jesus gives us the criteria. Whatever you do to the least of my brothers and sisters, you do it to me. Lord, when did we see you hungry or naked or in danger, or that we didn't tend to you? And the message is, you need to tend to your brothers and sisters. More than anything else, this season of the liturgical year, which ends in 2 weeks, and we start all over again with the first Sunday of Advent, this is meant to be a wake-up call to see how it is that we need to introduce change in our lives today, because we know neither the day nor the hour. So today might be the day to offer forgiveness. Today might be the day to ask for forgiveness. Today may be the day to be patient one more time. Today may be the day you tell someone that you love them. Today is the day to replenish our oil lamps for the procession home.